All right. Buenos dias.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday.
Hold on. Okay, it is streaming. Okay. Right. Thanks. I updated my Zoom. It looks a little different.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Hey, good morning. Happy Saturday.
Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Buenos
Yep.
dias.
Fine.
Buenos dias.
Buenos días. ¿Cómo estás?
It's this thing. I'm loving every moment of it.
Yeah. There you go. There you.
I am loving every moment of it. if there was any shadow of doubt, it's all erased.
Yeah. Hey, on a side note, how's my boy doing?
He's doing great. He's doing great. I was supposed to take him driving today into some summer camp program, but he's going working with he decided to go working with his brother. So I said, listen, it's your choice. I'm not, whatever you want to do, let me know.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
he's doing good. He has his driver's well, not his driver's license, his permit,
yeah,
and ready for his driver's license, thinking about prom. We'll see. But he's doing amazing.
good. Please tell him I said hello.
Will do.
Yeah. Well,
I've
good.
been trying to get him on the calls too.
Uh, well, good. Yeah. How's everything going for you? You were saying.
For me,
Yeah.
uh, as I stated, checks keep coming in the mail. The direct deposits are on their way.
Yeah.
Cash flowing from everywhere. But I'm getting like a sense of clarity on a lot of different things. Like things where it seemed, you know, so much ambiguity was surrounding it. Now I have such clarity and focus. It's like, oh, there's no, I know what to do. I know how to be. I am okay with making a decision and moving past it because I've allowed decisions to be made for me. So that's not happening.
Not happening. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, but it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is it's like fantastical, like fantastic and magical all at the same time. Like that's what it feels like, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. 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 So many things that I've heard said or read that now with experience, you really understand what they mean, right?
Mhm.
So when it says now unto him who is able to do exceeding
Exceedingly.
of all that you may ask or think,
That's what thing. Yes.
right? It's literally unbelievable. You know, you just never could have imagined how wonderful something could be, or like you said, kind of just, fantastical, right?
Mhm.
Like you just could have never imagined it just in theory or window shopping it, standing on the outside, just looking at it. You can
No.
how wonderful it is until you live it, until you put that on, until you step inside. It is far beyond your brain's ability to conceive before experience, right? How wonderful this thing actually is.
Yes. Mine is blown. Like I was here and it's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Yes, it
It
is.
really is.
Yes, it is. That is awesome. Well, Karen, good to see you. Happy Saturday.
Miss Kim.
Greetings, everyone. How's the
Greetings.
family? I'm doing great.
There you go.
Awesome.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yes, that is wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, looking forward to getting into some good stuff today.
I was listening to you on one of your lives as recent as yesterday, and I was so caught up in it, I was unaware that it wasn't the Saturday call. I said, oh, that's not it. That's a recording. You got to go get on. Voila, here I am.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, it's always good to have you all here. Always good. Yeah, always good. And you can see how these calls, even though we constantly have new people in it, there's so many of us who have been here long enough where there's a different level of maturity to it. There's so many of us now that are coming on just from having more experiences and from being doers of what we hear and having proof, of what we have, of what we believed. Now we have proof, so we don't need belief, we just know. And the more of us that are growing like that, it just, what to say, a rising tide raises all ships. Just just the maturity of it, the seasoning of it, you can feel. You can
Mhm.
feel the difference, in it. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. People like yourselves with the experiences, your presence makes the class feel different.
Yeah.
It makes it feel different, you know. Yeah, it's almost like when you're in school and you get into like a gifted class or an AP class or something like that. It's just the level of studentship is different. You don't deal
Mhm.
with so many of the common issues, right? For people that are talking, passing notes. Once you get up into those higher level classes, you don't have those type of students there. It's a different type of learning, and you're like, but this is actually all right. If I had got this from the first place, things might have been a lot different. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just your influences around you, all those things, they inspire you to be a different level of yourself, right? Because you got to fit in, right? You can't be doing those, remedial type behaviors when you're up here in the AP and in the gifted classes. Like, no, it's just a different level of studentship. That's all,
Mhm.
right? Not better people, so to speak, but just a different level of better behavior, more focused, more aware, just a different level of performance, right?
Mhm.
It does make a difference. It does. So I'm glad you guys always come because you make the class. You raise the quality of of it, and that's nice.
Mhm. It feels good to be here for sure.
Wonderful. Yeah, well, we're gonna get started in. Yeah, get started right on time. So yeah, Vanessa, when you get a chance, will you pull up the story, the slide one story? So whoever wants to read, just let us know. And we're going to start off with a story like we always do, just to see it, right? And then we're going to move into a couple of things. I'm kind of talk you through a couple of things, and then we'll get into, yeah, perfect, just right there. That's perfect. Then we'll get into it. So happy Saturday, everyone. It's wonderful to see you all. Great. Let's get started. All right. I'll read first, and then you guys can put your hand up and then let us know who wants to read next, and we'll read through it, and then we'll move on to the next stuff. I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple things, and then that will leave some time on the back end. So, all right, the man and wife in this story have attended my lectures for a number of years. It is an interesting illustration of the conscious use of this law, the conscious use of this law by two people concentrating on the same objective at one time. The man and wife were an exceptionally devoted couple. Their life was completely happy and entirely free from any problems or frustrations. For some time, they had planned to move into a larger apartment. The more they thought about it, the more they realized that what they had their hearts set on was a beautiful penthouse. In discussing it together, the husband explained that he wanted one with a huge window looking out on a magnificent view. The wife said she would like to have one side of the walls mirrored from top to bottom. They both wanted to have a wood burning fireplace. It was a must that their apartment be in New York City. For months, they had searched for just such an apartment in vain. In fact, the situation in the city was such that the securing of any kind of apartment was almost an impossibility. They were so scarce that not only were there waiting lists for them, but all sorts of special deals, including premiums, the buying of furniture, etc., were involved. New apartments were being leased long before they were completed, many being rented from the blueprints of the building. Early in the spring, after months of fruitless seeking, they finally located one which they seriously considered. It was a penthouse apartment in a building just being completed on Upper Fifth Avenue facing Central Park. It had one serious drawback. Then I'll let somebody else read.
All right, Miss Karen.
Oh,
You're muted, Miss Karen.
Dude, that would be great, right?
yeah.
Okay, being a new building, it was not subject to rent control, and the couple felt the yearly rental was exorbitant. In fact, it was several $1,000s a year more than they had considered paying. During the spring months of March and April, they continued looking at various penthouses throughout the city, but they always came back to this one. Finally, they decided to increase the amount they would pay substantially and made a proposition which the agent for the building agreed to forward to the owners for consideration. It was at this point, without discussing it with each other, each determined to apply the law of assumption. It was not until later that each learned what the other had done. Night after night, they both fell asleep in imagination in the apartment they were considering. The husband, lying with his eyes closed, would imagine that his bedroom windows were overlooking the park. He would imagine going to the window the first thing in the morning and enjoying the view. He found himself sitting on the terrace overlooking the park, having cocktails with his wife and friends, all thoroughly enjoying it. He filled his mind with actually feeling himself in the penthouse and on the terrace. During all this time, unknown to him, his wife was doing the same thing.
Perfect. Next.
It's Sarita.
Several weeks went by without any decision on the part of the owners, but they continued to imagine as they fell asleep each night that they were actually sleeping in the penthouse. One day, to their complete surprise, one of the employees in the apartment building which they lived told them that the penthouse there was vacant. They were astonished because theirs was one of the most desirable buildings in the city with a perfect location right on Central Park. They knew there was a long waiting list of people trying to get an apartment in their building. The fact that a penthouse had unexpectedly become available was kept quiet by the management because they were not in a position to consider any applicants for it. Upon learning that it was vacant, this couple immediately made a request that it be rented to them, only to be told this was impossible. The fact was that not only were there several people on the waiting list for a penthouse in the building, but it was actually promised to one family. Despite the couple Despite this, the couple had a series of meetings with the management, at the conclusion of which the was theirs. The building being subject to rent control, their rental was just about what they had planned to pay when they first started looking for a penthouse. The location, the apartment itself, and the large terrace surrounding on the south, west, and north was beyond all their expectations. And in the living room on one side is a giant window, 15 feet by 8 feet, with a magnificent view of Central Park. One wall is mirrored from floor to ceiling, and there is a wood burning fireplace. Wow.
Okay. Wow. Exactly. So what did we take from that? Wow is a good word.
I took that both of them went into exactly what they knew to do, which was the law of assumption. They slept on it. They believed for it. They didn't lose hope. They didn't like even when they were told this is impossible. They kept on going. They kept doing what they felt was going to be theirs. They kept on that way. And then even when they went up on the price that they were going to pay, because the law of assumption is so amazing, they wound up getting it for the price that they originally thought. So I'm like, this, wow. Wow.
You said they didn't lose hope. What's another word for hope? They didn't lose,
Faith,
that again?
faith.
What's another word for faith? They didn't lose hope. They didn't lose faith. They didn't lose,
Sparkle Belly said belief
okay, they didn't lose belief. They didn't lose,
themselves.
okay, they didn't lose themselves. That's good. What are themselves?
I am.
Okay? Yes. So then they didn't lose I am. What is I am in the context of this? Vision I saw, which is good. What is another word for so what is vision in this context? What is God in this context?
Your desire.
Their desire. What is desire in this context? What is a word for desire in this context? What does desire represent?
What does desire represent?
Sparkle Bailey put declaration.
Yeah, the declaration is a reflection of a or your. So authority. So, but in order to exercise authority, you have to be what?
In charge, like you have to be an authoritarian.
So in order to be in charge, you have to be.
Aware.
In order to be, as a result of being aware, you're able to be focused. They focus. They stay out on something. If you leave your house and you go to the grocery store and you decide to pass the grocery store, and then a person in the car with you says, "Hey, where you're going? Where are we going?" Right? If you pass the thing that you set out to do, somebody's going to ask where you're going. If you say, "I don't know," then where are you going? If you lose focus, where are you going in the car now? Right. So you could say, then everybody would think at that point, once you lost focus, that person would think you are what?
Lost.
Lost. When you lose focus, you get
lost.
You get lost. When you feel lost, it's because you've lost focus. But you lose focus when you lose focus when you no longer are assuming yourself to be what you chose to be before you started, when this first thing started. This is all starting because of what you chose. I'm choosing a new apartment, or I'm choosing new health, or I'm choosing a different experience. So once I decide to be that, that's my focus. That's who I am. That is consciousness. That is awareness. So there's several words in here. Determined. They determined. What's another word for determined?
Committed.
Committed. What's another word for that?
Decision.
Decision. They made
A decision.
a decision. They made a decision. The apartment didn't make a decision. The apartment building didn't make a decision. The people who told him it was impossible, they didn't lose focus and allow that to become the decision, which is what you do. You let somebody else change your decision because they tell you it's impossible. You started off on this mission and you passed the grocery store and got lost. And then somebody else started giving you directions. And then you're just out here on a wild goose chase. You're just running around. And then what you do is you justify yourself by how long you've been driving, how much gas you've used, how much effort you've made, how many calls you've been on, how many this or that. You try to justify your ignorance and your lack of focus, your loss of focus, the fact that you dropped or abandoned your decision by you try to justify that through your effort. But that only works in humanity because humanity is all about effort. But what did Christ say? My yoke is easy and burden is light. I'm not out here grinding. I'm not out here working 58 shifts. I decided who I am, and that's just what it is. I'm here about my Father's business. I know my Father, whom you call your God. I'm not doing the work. It's my Father in me. That is someone who knows who they are. That is someone who knows, therefore, how to make a decision. And they don't let someone tell them it's impossible and make them drop their decision or make them abandon their focus. So they determined, they made a decision. To your point, because this is a law. This is not luck. This is not the lottery. This is not you being a good person. This is not moral or ethical. What does it say? The Lord is no respecter of persons. The law is no respecter of persons. Whoever knows 2 + 2 is 4 could be a murderer or a priest. It's still 4. The truth is not personal. Nobody owns it. Nobody gets to say, well, since you're not a good person, it's not 4 for you. This is a law we're talking about. Now, people call it a lot of things. They call it the law of assumption. They call it the law of attraction. They call it the law of being, the law of consciousness. It's basically whoever you're being is what you get. Whoever you be is what you see. It's what you're seeing physically. It is what you believe you're seeing physically. It is how you are perceiving things. It's what you tell yourself about what you're seeing. All that is coming from who you're being, called identity. That is who you think you are. So you see the world not as it is, but you see it as you are. So this is a law. That's why they could get what they wanted in the end. Wow. Because it's not determined on other people telling you something's possible or impossible, whether something's positive or negative. You create your own reality. You are the supreme authority of your reality. Whatever you say goes, in ignorance or in knowledge. That's why you better know what you're thinking, know what you're saying, and know who you are. Because if you know who you are, you'll be mindful of what you're thinking and what you're saying. Because you understand that you can build your house or you can burn it down. So whether it's standing or whether it's on the ground in rumbles or in shambles, is because of you. Now, you could blame somebody else. They could blame somebody. They could have blamed somebody and said, oh, it was impossible, right? Didn't somebody tell them it was impossible?
Mhm.
Most people stop right there. Because you know, why do they stop right there? Because they believe the person that they're talking to, they've now made the person they're talking to the person they're praying to. So if they tell me no, it's over. God went out the window. That's God now. The person who told you no is now, you have now in effect, net effect, you have made that person God. Meaning you have made what they say, what their word is, the outcome, the authority. You've made that true to you. You've made that what's possible to you. No, you didn't call him God. You don't mean that. That's not what you would ever cop to. But we're talking about the net effect. What actually happened? You stopped because they said. But didn't you say? So why does what they say mean more than what you say? Because you think you do. Because you think it does. Because you don't know who you are. That's why. So you get lost. Right? But when you know this is a law, you know there is no they, them, or it. They, them, or it reflect what you say to be true. So you don't give your power to them. You may have a conversation with them, but you're not praying to them. So you can have as many conversations as you want. It's not over till you say it's over. It's not over till you get what you want. Nobody's standing in your way, but your belief that they are, because you gave your belief of self over to your belief in them. So now they have your belief. They didn't stop you. They just used the power that you could have used to keep going. You just gave them your power to stop you from going. That's all that happened. This is a law. So what did they do? They continued. Because they didn't give their power away when somebody said it's impossible, they said, so what? I don't care what you say. I only care what I say. Because I'm the creator of my reality. I know who I am and I know how this works. So I continue on anyway because I declare and decree. And what I say goes, not what you say. I don't care what you say or what you think. I'm just talking to you because that's what I do in the world of Caesar. That's what I do in humanity. But I'm not praying to you. I'm just talking to you. That's all I'm doing. So if you say no, no problem. Thank you. Have a good day. I'll see you. I'll be back. It may not be through you. It may be through somebody else. It may be through you tomorrow. You may call me back tomorrow. I'm like, hey, you know what? No problem. I'm not mad at you because you can't stop me. It's not me versus you. It's only really me versus me. What I started with, am I willing to continue? But if I don't know who I am, if I don't know who I am, I won't make a decision. Or even if I do, I will abandon it. And if I don't know who I am, I'll abandon my decision. But I only abandon my decision because I don't think it's a law. I think it's a rule, or I think it's luck, or I think it's who I know, and not what I know. Or I think it's if I have a deposit, or if I have a degree, or I think if I'm not black, or if I'm not white, or I think we attribute, or we have all. I say it all the time. We don't really realize how many gods we have, how many gods we serve, how many things we attribute our ultimate destiny to. And we will never cop to it because we don't consciously mean it. We don't really mean that, but I don't care what you mean. I only care what you're doing. Because that's what you're going to get the outcome of, right? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. And if you don't obey the law, you'll get no justice and no peace. So like my mom likes to say, then you'll end up in pieces. No peace ends up in pieces. Right? Because you abandon the law because you think it's luck, because you don't know who you are, so you don't continue. But if you do, then you will see that you are the alpha who decided what you wanted, the penthouse, and the omega is you in it. Whatever you decided in mind, you will see in your hand. And it will be every time, wow, it will be beyond all expectations. Every single time. It'll be better than you ever could have thought because your brain doesn't know what that is. Only your mind does. Only your I am awareness, only your Christ mind sees everything and understands it. Your brain only understands things through the experiences it's had up to this moment. So it'll cause something It'll call something unrealistic because it's not real to it. But your brain is only trained to deal with the physical world that it has access to, right? Presently or past. It doesn't know how to deal with the future. It deals with the future by recreating the past. That's what your brain's assumptions are. Just a reheating of the past. It's Friday after Thursday of Thanksgiving. It's out there reheating the turkey and the sauce and everything else. It doesn't cook anything new. It just reheats what's already made. Your brain is not a creative faculty. Your brain is where your mind, the creative faculty, deposits all of when it's done. Your brain then calls it an idea, right? That's what's happening there. So when you try to use your limited brain to access unlimited potential and possibilities, you'll never win. You'll flame out, you'll burn out, you'll exhaust yourself, you'll wear yourself down. I tell people all the time, people aren't inherently quitters. Humanity are not quitters. Otherwise, we'd never be here. We would have our generations would have never lasted long enough to get us here. There was no in and out back in the day. There was no housing. There was no heating. There was no plumbing. It was wild out there 400 years ago. It was wild out there in the street. If humanity were natural quitters, we would have never been here. But a lot of times we're not quitters, but we end up quitting. Why? Because we end up being overwhelmed and exhausted. It's not a lack of work. It's because of the work. We work ourselves to the bone and to the death, and then still don't get what we want. So we figure, why continue on that road? I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to give up. We give up. We didn't give up before we got started. We gave up because we literally wore ourselves out and we felt like we're at our wits' end. We don't know what else to do. How many more hours are you going to work? How much longer can you keep up this pace? Especially when you don't see anything else happening, right? So that is why these things happen. But when you know who you are, you understand, just like that story, everything starts with a decision. And most of us are not willing to make that. We want proof first, not understanding that you're the proof. We want somebody to tell us it's possible, not understanding no matter what they tell you, it's not if you don't think so. You're waiting on them and they're waiting on you. You're waiting on the world and the world is waiting on you. I am, right? In the beginning, I am. Then I am created. God created the heavens and the earth. So what if I am? What if God was waiting on the heavens and the earth? What if God was waiting on the heavens and the earth to say, you can create me? You're waiting on the experience you want to say it's okay to create me. Who else is going to do it if you don't? If you don't say I am that, who else is going to do it? And if you don't say I am that, who else is going to be it? And if it's someone else, it's not you. So you still didn't win. Nobody can look through your eyes. Nobody can swallow for you. There's certain things you have to do for yourself. And if you want to live a good life, right? If you want to live a good life, you have to learn how to think. And once you learn how to think, you realize there is I am and there is no other. That what you tell yourself is true is true. What you believe to be true is true. What you think to be true is true. And whatever your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings about life, that is what you see in your physical world. That is the reality that you are creating, meaning those are the physical experiences you're creating. The physical experiences you're creating are based on what you think and feel and believe to be true about yourself and therefore the world. Because I think I'm this, I think my relationship with this is that. But that's not based on the thing. It's based on first who I am. Based on who I am, I think my life is this, or I think things go like this, or I think it's first based on myself, who I think that is, right? So when, like these people, when you understand nothing happened until they made a decision. You could wish, dream, want all day long until you literally expire from that physical body. Nothing is going to change until you make a decision. Really a choice. Right? Because a choice means to choose from more than one option. Once you choose one thing from however many options there are, now you've made a decision. The decision is active. That means you've cut off everything you didn't choose. That's what decision means. They're not the same thing. You have to make a choice before a decision. A choice is what you get. Decision is automatic. It means decision means, oh, okay, you chose this, everything else is cut off. So when you get in your car and you turn right and you make a choice, decision cuts off left. Decision, the hammer comes down. So the first thing you have to do is make a choice. Choice means to have the ability to select from more than one option. If you only have one option, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. That's not a choice. So it doesn't matter what you choose. It only matters that you have the option, that you have more than one option to choose from. That's choice. Once you make that choice, you have cut off the opposite. That comes automatically. A decision is automatic, but only after you make a choice. So when you make a choice to be successful, you've cut off failure. That's why you can't be both. There is no failing in success. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. Failing and success are not the same thing. So when you choose to be successful, you don't bring in failure as a part of that journey. That's not the same thing. Those are two different things. They're not the same. And people try to include one, making themselves feel better about maybe a mistake that they made. Oh, well, failing is this and failing is that. Success and failure don't live together any more than light and dark do, any more than right and left do, any more than up and down do. They don't. They don't. But when you decide to be successful and then bring in a side piece, then you go ahead and do that. Failure be right there. You can be successful, have a little failure on the side if that's what you like. You can start your business real good, and then 2 weeks later, somebody steal all your products. You can see your side piece if you want. That's on you. You're the one that made that choice. And the decision comes down, right? So we have to understand that, all right? In the interest of time, I'll move on because I want to make sure you're going to have a lot of questions today. So I want to leave some room for it. All right. Slide 2, please. Today, we're going to talk about time. We're going to talk about things a little differently than we understand it. All right. All right. So let's walk through this. All right. Then they sailed to the country of the Gadarenes, which is opposite of Galilee. And when he stepped out onto the land, so he, in this moment, you don't know, they're talking about Jesus, right? That is your I am awareness within you. Otherwise, your Christ mind, right? Not your human brain, that's your higher mind in your physical body. That is your Christ mind, right? That's why it says Christ in you, the hope of glory, right? Christ defined in the New Testament, right, as the power and the wisdom of God, or of I am, of your awareness. Your awareness has a power and a wisdom. It has the ability and the know-how to get that penthouse, to get your health, to literally lead you to the promised land, to save you. That's why Christ is your salvation. It's to save you. It is your solution to anything. It is your awareness of being within you that has the power, the ability, and the know-how to get anything done. So when Jesus stepped out onto the land, there met him a certain man from the city who had demons for a long time. All right. So there met him a certain man. So what do I always tell you? When you're meeting a man, you're meeting what?
A mind.
A mind.
A mind. You're meeting a state of mind. So this mind, the higher mind, is meeting a different state of mind. Right? A different state of mind. So now you have two minds in the same place. Just like you have several minds in your home, like you have several minds at your office, like you have minds all around you. You have to figure out which one of these you are and which one of these you should be. Right? All right. So there met him a certain mind from the city who had demons for a long time. So this mind had demons. Demons are the opposite of what?
Angels.
Opposite of angels. Right? So your demons are the I'm going to simplify it for this moment. Your demons are basically the thoughts opposite of your right mind, of your sanity, of your peace, of your desired end. The angels, right, are the messengers of your righteous mind, of your right mind, right? The part of your mind where your tithes go, right? When you're thinking whole and complete, right? The angels, that's what the angels are. They're the thoughts that are in line with who you want to be. Righteous mind, your righteous mind. Those are the messengers of your righteous mind. The thoughts and desires, those are the things that That's what those represent in this particular case, right? So had demons for a long time. So this person was not thinking correctly for a long time. And what did we say last story? When you stop thinking properly, you get lost. Being a good person, being a deaconess, being Mother Teresa, being on the PTA board, you being a good person has nothing to do with it if you're not thinking properly. Right? So when you're not thinking properly, you get lost. Well, what does it say? And he wore no clothes. Nor did he live in a house, but in the tombs. So this person is living outside with no clothes on. Now, if you saw that person, that would probably be pretty weird, let's just say, right? You'd be like, something's not right. Okay, so nor did he live in a house, but in the tombs. The tombs, otherwise known as what? Where is he?
You said outside?
Yeah, but where is he?
In the tombs? That's like for dead people?
Yes. So where is he?
Butt naked dead.
I
Where?
would say in hell,
Well,
In
yeah,
the grave.
in the
in the
graveyard.
grave.
Oh, hello.
That's where tombs are, right? These are the graveyard. So he is, right now, he is living where?
Amongst the
Among
dead.
the dead.
Exactly. Amongst the dead. He's living amongst the dead. So then he says, okay, so when he saw, so now the person living with the demons amongst the dead now sees Jesus and says, when he saw Jesus, when he saw the angels now, when he sees the opposite, when he sees the right mind, falls down before him with a loud voice. What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, do not torment me. For he had commanded, so Jesus had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man. The unclean spirit to come out of the man. What does that mean?
He's exorcising the demons in him.
Okay.
He's getting out of him the things that are not of his right mind. So getting him back in his right mind.
Correct. This is always talking about consciousness. Remember, the man is a
Mind.
So when they're exercising, getting the demons out, they're saying they're basically getting out all the improper, untrue thoughts of yourself. The improper, untrue thoughts of yourself. When you're not thinking about yourself properly, or about first and foremost yourself, and then about anything else outside of that. That's getting the demons out, getting improper, untrue thoughts about yourself first, and everything subsequent to that. That's what your higher mind does. It's just like a housekeeper. It's always cleaning shop, always saying, nope, that shouldn't be here. Nope, that shouldn't be here. Nope, we don't do that. Nope, because they can't dwell together. Both of us can't be up in here. So when that attempts to come in, if you want me to be here, this got to go. We're not roommating here, right? So it's saying you got to come out. He had commanded. Right? That means you are exercising a position of authority through example. It's not demanded. Oh, well, I demand that you, yeah, but you may not have the authority for that. Or you may not be eligible for that. That may not really be who you are. When you command, it means you're exercising an authority that you own. That is rightfully yours. So he commanded the unclean spirit, the unclean thought to come out of the man, the unclean spirit to come out of the man, the unclean thought to come out of the mind. Your awareness is always commanding unclean thoughts out of the mind. Because what do those unclean thoughts do? It often sees them and he was kept under guard, bound with chains and shackles. And he broke the bonds and was driven by the demon, driven by inappropriate thinking into the wilderness.
Mm.
Where do you think the children of Israel, where were they wandering around for 40 years? In the wilderness. Because this person and the children of Israel in the wilderness were all what? Sarita, what
Lost.
today? They
Lost.
were lost. Lost. Thinking incorrectly about yourself or about things will get you lost and keep you lost. And there's no way back except the truth. Wilderness represents basically confusion. When you just turn around in a circle, just wandering around. So Jesus, your higher mind, your I am awareness says, what is your name? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are in this moment? And he said, Legion, because many demons had entered him. So he said, what is your name? He's talking to one person, right? And the one person, he said, Legion, because many. So letting you know it's not talking about a body. It's talking about a mind that has many demons, a mind that has many inappropriate thoughts and concepts of itself first and the world after that. This is talking about your mind. This is talking about your consciousness. This is talking about what happens when you think properly or when you don't. And take a look at your world and see, where are you? Where are you? So he said Legion because many demons had entered. Many thoughts were up in there. There's a whole lot of thought party happening up in here. It's not what I know, it's who I know. It's COVID, it's tariffs, it is the economy, it is this, it is that. Okay. All those things that you're believing in that you think control your destiny, your fate, your destination, your outcome, all those things that you prop up, you have to serve. You have to give your loyalty and allegiance to them. And now they're running the show. That's why people say, oh, I just can't help it. Yeah, they're running the show. I just can't help myself. It's not my fault. It's they, it's them, it's it. It's not me. They're now running the show. And they begged him that he would not command them to go out into the abyss, right? So now a herd of many swine was feeding there on the mountain. So they begged him that he would permit them to enter them, and he permitted them. Then the demons went out of the man. Then the thoughts went out of the mind. Your awareness of being, when you choose something else, like, yeah, man, that's it, that's out. No, I'm not sick, that's out, right? I'm in good health. No, I'm not broke. No, I'm always prosperous. I always have more than enough. You're operating on one or the other, not both. One or the other. They both can't be in the same place at the same time. You have to choose. So your awareness of mind is saying, hey, I can get all these people out if you want. Because as you can see, the demons, whatever you want to call them, none of them, they know who Jesus was. None of them thought they were going to be able to stay against his will. They're not equal. They're not equal. Right? Who you desire to be is stronger than what you're in right now. They're not equal. But until you enact your awareness to say, okay, that's enough of that, you're going to stay in the graveyard. You're going to stay where you are. So then the demons, right, the inappropriate thoughts went out of the man and entered the swine, now driving somebody else crazy. And they drove down the steep place and into the lake and drowned. It's either going to be you or them. The same thing it did to that pig, if you keep it, it's going to do to you. To drown the pig, it's going to drown you. So when those who fed them saw what had happened, they fled into the city and in the country. Then they went out to see what happened and came to Jesus and found the mind from whom the demons had departed, sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in his right mind. So when they came to the higher mind, they found the mind that was crazy, they found that when those thoughts are removed, right, when they're departed, they find that mind sitting at the feet of Jesus. Well, the feet, metaphysically, one of the things it means is wisdom. It is now being controlled by the right mind. You've now been restored. You're the prodigal son in your mind. You've come back to your right mind. You're back home. Sitting at the feet of awareness, at the wisdom of awareness, clothed. When you are in your right mind, when you're sitting at the feet, when you are subjected yourself to wisdom by remembering who you are, you will always be clothed. You'll always have, because you're in your right mind. You will not only have the physical things, you'll be in your right mind. You'll have both, not one or the other. And they were afraid. And they also seen him. They said, they told him, by what means did this happen? Then the whole multitude asked him to depart, for they were seized with great fear, and he got in the boat and returned, right? But the point of the matter is, point number one, the graveyard. The graveyard. So this person was sitting there. The person was there for however long. They're in the graveyard. What does the graveyard represent? What is this story trying to tell you?
That you're amongst the thoughts that'll lead you to your death, or you're in a place of. So when I think of the angel thoughts, I'm thinking life. Like you're in a place where everything you want, you create, you can have. And if you're in the opposite thought, you're in the thoughts where everything's dead. It's not getting the things that you want. It's not producing the things that you want.
Okay, so you're in the graveyard, which represents death. If you're living in the graveyard, you're living where?
Amongst the dead.
Where is that?
In your mind.
Where is that?
In the dark.
Where is that? Where is this story taking place? Where is this telling you? Where is this telling you you're living?
Opposite of where you want to be.
Okay. What does it say? God is a God of
The living.
Of the living. So you're living in the graveyard. So you're living with death.
Right.
So then where is the graveyard telling you death is?
Away from God.
Away from God, yeah.
Okay. So then if God is a God of the living, then death is not what God is, right? But it's still telling you it's in the graveyard. It's basically telling you that you're living in the past.
Mm.
Your past is tearing your ass up. It's tearing you. It is, and it's a family show, so I'm not really a profane person, but sometimes I got to pop off and show them. Sometimes you got to step off and make sure you get the point. You're living in the past. The graveyard is representing the past. That's death, right? Don't people go to the grave to the person? They wouldn't go to the grave if the person they were going to see was alive, would they? Yeah. You're living in the past. You're living in the past. And so many of us never get to be what we want to be now or next because we can't let go of the past. You can't let go of it. It's all you do is talk about it. All you do is fixate on it. All you do is remember it. All you do is remind yourself of it. All you do is keep replaying it and reheating it. And you're sitting here in the present, and you either won't pay attention to the future, to what you can be next, or you will bring the past into your present to put to your future. What does it say? Same, what does it say? Same stuff, different day. Well, how can it be the same stuff in a different day? If it's a brand new day, how can it be the same stuff? You haven't even lived. It's not even 3 o'clock yet. How are you assuming? Yeah, but you made a decision that it's already that way. You've already decided your day is messed up. Your life is messed up. You're living in this place. Living in the past will drive you crazy. Because most people don't know how to do that, actually. And I'm going to talk to you about that today. Most people don't actually understand how to use time because they don't really know what time is. They look at it from a human point, but they don't understand that God can't be constricted by time because God exists out of time. In the beginning, I am. In the beginning, I am. I'm before anything you talking about. Before time, before Timothy, before the plumber, before taxes, before death, before any of that, I am existed. So I am is not confined or restricted by time. Only humanity in the brain and its concept of it is. So then you limit yourself by something that's limiting and wonder why you feel limited. Oh, that's too late for me. Oh, I'm too old for that. Oh, that time is gone and come and gone now. Oh, you don't know how to use time. So anything you don't know how to use that you're using uses you. Play with some matches and you don't know what you're doing. Drive a car and you don't know what you're doing. Ride a bike and you don't know what you're doing. How does that work out every time? Until you figure out how to use it, it uses you. It's already got itself figured out. Matches don't burn, whether you know how to use them or not. And if you don't, you'll be burned. It's up to you. It's not up to the bike to stay up. You got to keep the bike up. And if you don't know how to do that, down goes Frazier. It's just what it is. It's Titanic on the sidewalk. This is what it is. It's very simple, right? Time. The graveyard is talking about the past. Most of us are living in the past too much. And what do they say, right? If you don't remember the past, you're doomed to repeat it. You know what's even better? The reason you're doomed is because you keep repeating the past and you won't leave it. You're doomed because you won't leave it. You won't leave it. You won't leave the past. You're walking around that graveyard shackled up by every past thing, the past, by all your memories. Remember when this, remember when that. Remember Al Bundy on Married with Children? All he talked about was the past. Kept talking about his high school wearing his Letterman jacket. Yeah, it's funny because we all remember it. Yeah, but we think we're not him. Just do an experiment this week. Do an experiment this week. I want you to do an experiment this week. I want you to just record, not literally, but I want you to be aware of how many people talk about the past this week. How they talk, when they talk about it and how they talk about it. And you're gonna see Al Bundy is alive and well. You're gonna see the Letterman jacket is on fleek, like they just made it yesterday. I mean, it's brand new, got some fur in it and everything now. Fur on the collar, got a little cheetah print, stepping out there, showing them. Yeah, the jacket's like it's ready to go on Friday night. Like when like when you're 18, 19, you ready to go out Friday night. Like it's like that. You're gonna see people live in the past constantly. They're always using their present to live in the past. And whatever they think about the future is just going to be their past repeated or reheated. That's why so many people act shackled. How many people tell you, I can't do it? How many times do you hear, I can't afford it? How many times do people say, oh, I can't do that? Or how many times do people tell you, you can't do it? Just do a little experiment this week and see what you hear. You'll be amazed how many people are living in graveyards, right? You'll be amazed how many people are doing it. People are doomed to repeat it. They keep repeating it over and over and over, right? Every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. So when you are repeating the past, when you are reheating the past, when you are blaming yourself for mistakes that you made in the past, do you know what you're doing in the present?
Not there.
Reliving it, doing the same thing, repeating it.
So then what are you doing? So if you think the past is not good, which is why you're lamenting it now, what are you doing now?
Declaring it that you want to experience it now.
Okay. What else are you doing?
You're dead.
Putting yourself in a graveyard.
Yeah, but every second is new. Every moment is new, right? So then what are you doing in this new moment?
Gotten your growth.
You're prosecuting yourself for the past. You're taking the new you, having them pay for the old you. You are prosecuting the new you who was never that because of the old you that you remember yourself being.
Mm.
So now guess what? The new you is serving the time for the old you. So then you can never be you because you remember the old you in jail and you took the new you and put it in there with it. So you wonder why this new day looks the same thing as yesterday. It's the same way as yesterday. Because you're taking the new you to live the old memory. You're taking the new you with it.
JK put a good comment. He said, digging up the dead body and trying to give it CPR.
Yes.
Woo!
You are resuscitating it. You are animating it with your consciousness. You are reliving it, right? In the beginning, God made the human body. The human body was nothing until what?
God blew the breath of life.
Correct. So how do you think the past becomes the present again?
You give it life.
Breathe the life, yeah.
You're blowing the life into it. You're putting your attention on that thing. You are reanimating it. How do you think Thanksgiving dinner from Thursday night becomes hot again on Friday? You reheat it. You put your awareness on it. It's the same thing in consciousness. You have reanimated it. You have brought it back to life. You've resuscitated it. Right? You don't wake up, it's not in there all night in the refrigerator cold, and then you pull it out and it's hot, is it? It's dead and cold, right? Well, your past is dead and cold until you go back in your mind and read. Oh man, I remember when, oh yeah, let me tell you what so-and-so did last week. All you're doing is reheating it. That memory needs you. It needs your consciousness to become alive. Just needs you to reheat it in order for it to be warm. It can't reheat itself. You won't come out of the graveyard. And so you keep repeating over and over and over, right? Okay, we go to the next slide, please. All right. So talked about this a little bit. A woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. All right. A woman, who is that? What is it talking about?
Mind.
Right? Okay. Talking about a mind. All right. Talking about a woman, a man, a child, a daughter is the expression of a mind. It's the physical expression of a mind. So we're talking about woman, it's talking about mind, right? But it's talking, so it's saying woman, all right, fine, right? Mind. Now, woman is the awareness of thought, of being the thought. Man, when it's talking about man, it's talking about the thought. Woman is the awareness of the thought. I am this. That's the thought. That's the man. My awareness of being that. My awareness, when I say I'm that, what I'm aware of being is the woman. That's how it's personified. That's what they're meaning. So a woman here, right, the awareness, there was an awareness of being something. You'll get to see what that is. A woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. Well, I'll go into it for a second, but subject to bleeding, when it's talking about bleeding, subject to bleeding. Well, it's basically talking about not being able to hold a desire. She's not able to hold something because it keeps getting flushed out. She's not able to hold something. She's not able to hold her desire of something, the desire that she has for something. Her awareness of being does not allow her to hold her desire. Right? And it's saying 12 years. It's basically simplifying. It's basically just saying constantly. She has an awareness of being something that she doesn't want to be constantly around the clock. Just simplifying it for this one, right? She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and spent all she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. So she has an awareness of being something. But she decided, well, I'm going to go to the physicians. I'm going to go to the doctor and all these different things and spend all I have. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. So what is that telling you?
She was looking for answers outside of her.
Answers? What's another word?
Cure. A cure.
What's another word? What?
Healing.
Okay. What's another word?
Savior.
Basically, she's looking for a savior. She's looking for salvation. She's looking for a solution. She's looking for health itself, the actual concept, the actual state of health itself. So, and when she did all that, where did she go when she was looking for it?
Outside of herself.
Outside. And when you go outside, what did it say happens?
It got worse.
It got worse. And why does that happen? She did the right thing. She went to the doctor. We should all go to the
She didn't need those outlets. She needed herself. She needed to believe herself.
Yeah, it's all good for us to go to the doctor. God made doctors too, so it's wonderful, right? But the problem was she went outside. So yes, what you're saying, but what is missing? What is the problem with what is the problem? What is she missing? What was
Belief, awareness,
belief, awareness of
self.
self. So if you're going outside with, not going outside, listen to me carefully. If you're going outside without the awareness of being what it is you want, it's not going to change. Because you're going outside as the one without. And you can't find with as without. As being the person without, you can't find with. It's not about not going to the doctor, but you go to the doctor as the one being health yourself. You establish in your mind, you know what? I am healthy. Now you go to the doctor. How long does it take to say I'm healthy? Doesn't mean you got to make an appointment 3 weeks from now. But you establish in your mind, you go with the end in mind. Because you're only going to get the outcome. The medicine is only going to show you who you're being. That's why there's people who have diseases who they take medicine and it still doesn't work. They still die anyway. People die in the hospital, don't they? Just going to the hospital is not going to save you. It's showing you how consciousness works. You cannot physically do one thing that should try to override what you're aware of being. It won't work. It either won't take or it won't stick. And you're worse off. Why? Because you're spending all this time not being what you want to be. So what is it? How do you know? She grew worse. What does it say? When she heard about Jesus. What does that mean?
She
became aware
of self.
Essentially, she changed her mind. This is the beginning of changing her mind. This is the beginning of health. When you hear about your I am awareness, when she got the idea to say, wait a minute. And now how do you know? She came up behind him in the crowd and touched his clothes because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. And when she thought that, it made her do something, right? She came behind him in the crowd and touched his clothes because. So she did this because. So what did she do it because of? Well, because of what she thought. If I just touch his clothes, I'll be healed. So then which one came first?
The
I
thought,
thought.
The thought. So what changed first?
her mind.
Her thought, her mind. And when it changed mind, what did it do?
Produce the result.
Yeah, but what did it do first?
Inspire the action.
Cause action.
Inspired the action. And what was the action that she took?
Touch his garment.
Yes. So if you look up, right, if you go back up a little bit, there was a woman there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. And she suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and spent all she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. So what's the difference between the two?
Thought?
She was doing instead of being.
Well, you're always doing because of who you're being. So then the question becomes,
Who was she being?
and until she changed,
Her mind.
then everything she did came out of the mind that she had, from the state of consciousness that she possessed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then what is this telling you about your actions?
They're inspired by your thought.
They're inspired by your thought. They are not in opposition of your thought. They are the servant of your thought. They are your thought in action. So you can't think one thing and think you're going to do something else. You never are. You're always doing according to what you're thinking. You may think you're doing something different because you're aware that you don't think this is going to work, but you're going to do what it takes anyway. Well, it's not going to work. Because everything you're doing is in reference to what you're thinking. Everything you're doing is because of what you're thinking. So what you're doing doesn't matter because it doesn't have its own free will. You're only doing because of what you think. So until she changed what she thought, what she did didn't matter. As soon as she changed what she thought, she did something different because she thought something different. So the doing is not what made it happen. What made it happen is the change of thought. And so based on that thought, it gave her a different thing to do. A different thinker does different things. You can see people do the same actions. You can say, I went to work. Another person can say, I went to work. But they don't make the same amount of money. Even within a job, they don't make the same amount of money. Look on sports teams. Everybody's on the team. Everybody's doing something. People don't make the same amount of money. Look at a company. Everybody's doing something. They don't make the same amount of money. So just using the same words doesn't mean that you get the same outcomes. You get the outcomes based on who you're being. So when she said, oh, when she changed her mind, then now she touched his hip. It changed what she did. Your actions are always in service to your thinking. They don't make you anything. All they're doing is showing you who you're thinking to be, who you are. The physical world doesn't make you anything. It's not making you good or bad, right or wrong, rich or poor. It's only here to serve your thought. So that's why when she heard about Jesus, she's basically saying when she changed her mind, she thought, if I touch his clothes, I will be healed. So then she came up behind the crowd and touched his clothes. She did what she thought. And as soon as she changed her mind, her action changed. As soon as her action changed, then verse 29, what happens then?
Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that She was freed from her suffering.
And when did that happen?
Immediately.
Immediately. Her bleeding stopped. She was able to maintain her awareness of being. And your awareness of being is what dictates how your body, the physical world, feels, looks, is. She felt in her body. Your body feels what you're thinking. It's your body. It feels what you think. It is not a separate entity. It's not working for you or against you. It's working as you. As you. But guess what? At the beginning, where was she? At the beginning, where was she?
Suffering.
Lost.
Where was she? Yep. Where was she?
The graveyard.
The graveyard.
The graveyard. And she was there for 12 years. Ain't nobody coming to get you out. Jesus ain't coming to get you out. I'm just going to tell you now. You got to come out. You have to make a choice. She made that choice. And in verse 30, it says, once Jesus realized that power had gone out, he turned around and asked, who touched my clothes? Jesus didn't have a choice. You make the choice because that's really who you are. You have to make the choice. That is you. Jesus is not coming to get you. It is you. You're the one walking around the graveyard not knowing who you are. That's why you're lost. Do you know that there's never been a graveyard that put gates up to keep the people in the grave from getting out? You do know that, right? They're not afraid of people leaving. The graveyards to keep people out, not keep the people in it out. Right? From leaving. That's what I mean when I say Jesus is not coming to get you. That's who you are already. You just don't know it, so you're lost. And you wander around for 12 years. You wander around for 40 years. You wander around until you figure it out, till you remember who you are. I never leave you nor forsake you. Christ in you, the hope of glory. How is Jesus coming to get you and it's inside you? What are you talking about? Kingdom of heaven is within you. Who's coming to get you? That is you. That's why she said, hey, if I change the way I think, then yeah, I can. Yeah, if you change the way you think, your body will change. Meaning any physical thing, your body included, but any physical thing will change. It's only the way it is because of the way you think. And she was in that graveyard for 12 years. You could be in the graveyard of any area of your life for as long as you remain there. Nobody's coming to get you out. Nobody put you in it. But we wander around. Well, I can't. Until she said, you know what? If I just touch the hem of his clothes, until she heard about Jesus, if I just touch the hem of these clothes, I can get up out of here. She could have did that 12 years ago. You could have been out of your graveyard a long time ago. But in the mind you're in, it never occurs to you that you can. Guess what you're going to do in the graveyard? Let's say the things we said to ourselves. So instead of leaving the graveyard because you don't like it, what should we do? What do we do?
Grind.
Grind. Okay. What else do we do?
Worry.
Worry. Okay. What else do we do?
Hustle.
Hustle. Okay. What else do we do?
Make friends in the graveyard.
Because everybody will complain with us, don't we? We get us a little pain. All right. What else do we do? Oh, come on. What about the good things that we do while we're in here? What else? What other good things do we do?
Buy a course.
Okay. We buy. Okay. We buy. Okay.
I was gonna say build legacy in the graveyard.
Okay. Yeah. That's it. Might as well.
Mm.
Well, what about, when I'm in there, you know what I do? I practice gratitude. Because
Wow.
somebody always has it worse than me. There's always somebody who has it worse than me. I'm going to practice gratitude. You know what else I tell people while they're in there? Hey, look, God will never put more on you. I just want you to know. They never, there's never put more on you.
Take accountability.
Oh man, isn't that the good one? Ooh, take accountability. Hey, you know how many accountability partners you got in the graveyard? And guess what? They're always available. They don't have nothing else to do. So you guys can chop it up all day, every day. Accountability. Yeah, you got an accountability partner, boy. Oh, that's it. But yeah, so you stay there because you literally don't think you can leave. It's the past. She suffered for 12 years and got free as soon as she changed her mind. You can get free as soon as you change your mind. But the past stops you from changing your mind. So then you think that you can't get a new experience without first changing your mind. Because you can't get a new thing and be the old you or be the same you. You can't do that. That's not the way it works. So you keep living the same day. Yes, Groundhog Day. You keep living the same day because you're the same person. How can you get a new day as the same person? Why would you get a new day? What did I say the other day? I asked you a question. I said, what is today?
It's already done.
What is today?
Oh, me.
You. So if you're the same you, you're going to have.
Me.
Yeah, you're going to have what?
The same.
Same day.
The same.
Same you.
So guess what? Until she changed her mind, she was the same her for 12 years. And the issue that she caused by being her stayed, right? And when she heard about Jesus, meaning when she became a new self, when she identified herself differently, the thing stopped
Immediately.
When God said, let there be light, light came.
Immediately.
So what's taking you so long? What's taking you so long to change your mind? What's taking this thing so long to change? Nothing but you. Nothing but your belief that you can't change your mind, or nothing but your belief that things take time to change and take 2 to 5 years to make money, or you got to do this and you got to do that and you have to know this person, then you got to do that, then you got to be here. Nothing but your beliefs are happening. The only thing you're experiencing are your assumptions. That's all you're ever experiencing is what you believe to be true. And then when it shows up in your face, you're like, that wasn't me. He don't live here. They not home. No, that's you. That's you. All you doing is experiencing yourself in physical form. Your reality, your physical world is just you. You being you. As soon as you change you, things change. That's it. Like Sarita talked about this morning. I can see it all on her face. When you change your mind, you change your life, don't you? Your life changes. It's always been that way. We just didn't know it. It's always been this way. We just don't realize we're walking around the graveyard because everybody that we know is in there with us. We don't feel like we're missing anything, right? We don't realize that this is not the place to be because everybody we know is in here with us, right? Hell is not the place to be, but hell, if everybody you know was in there with you, it wouldn't be as bad. Some of what makes jail bad is the separation between you and people you know that you can't get to. But if everybody you've ever known was in there, nobody wants to be in there, but it'd feel much better than if you were the only one. So a lot of times it's because we've separated ourselves. When we feel like we're separating ourselves from people, then we're become aware. But you could have always walked out the graveyard. You could have stopped this suffering that you're in a long time ago, but not as you are. But since we're in the graveyard, we're unwilling to tell ourselves a new story. We're walking around with the dead. We keep reanimating the past. We keep telling ourselves the same story over and over and over and over, waiting for a new thing to show up, waiting for a new day. How? When today is you. Today is you. So no, same you, same day. So you might as well go on and write that down. Put it on your mirror. Same you, same day. Don't look for no new day and you the same you. Now, if you like the days you're living, then stay the same. If you know who you are, keep cracking. But if you don't, change. And you can change simply by becoming aware of being who you really are. I am. I am all that is. I am all there is. I am, and there is no other. So that means whatever I say goes because there's no other sayer. So then the only thing that's going is what I said. So if I don't like it, say something different. But don't spend your time blaming they, them, or it for your life. When you are the creator of it, the sole supreme authority of it. That is how you learn responsibility. And then from there, you can take accountability. But you got to know who you are to be responsible. And in order to be responsible, you have to know who you are, and then you can be held accountable. How are you going to hold somebody accountable and they're not responsible? And how are they going to be responsible if they don't know who they are? That's like trying to hold a 18-month-old baby responsible. Well, you used the bathroom in that diaper. That wasn't me. What? What are you talking about? You did that. It's a baby. And we don't really realize how many babies in mind we have around us. Or when we are one ourselves. And we do the same thing, did it to ourselves, and then go look for somebody else to clean it up. Hey, you got some wipes on you? What? Right? No, doesn't work like that. Right? If you don't leave, if the worst mistake you make about the past is not that it happened, it's that you won't leave it. You won't let it go and leave it behind. You'll keep the issue of blood for years, and you'll wander around the wilderness for years, blaming everybody, blaming everyone, blaming everything, wondering why your life won't improve, why it won't get better. It can't, because you're the same. You keep talking about things the same, you keep seeing things the same because you're the same. You're the same. And until you, what did it say? Be you transformed. You change yourself by doing what? By doing what?
Changing your mind.
By the
renewing your
by the
mind.
renewing of your mind. Yeah.
Yes, changing your, renewing your mind. Isn't that what she did to get the issue of blood out? She did it herself. She didn't ask Jesus for nothing. Man, this is happening. Hey, do you mind if I touch your Converse? This ain't show enough. This is happening. No, I'm good. Who touched me? I don't know, but I sure feel a lot better. You don't have to, your awareness is waiting on you to say, this is who I am. Let's get this going. It's waiting on you. And you think you're waiting on it. No, you're not. All right. Third slide, please. Or was that the last one?
That was the last one. Same one.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So, right? Now, how do we use the past? Let's talk about the past a little different. Let's show you how to use the past. Right? Because you have to understand that humanity's concept of past and I am's concept of past, your Christ mind, your awareness of being, the concept of past, though, between those two are completely different. They're not the same. All right. So I am. That is the name of God. God is the title. I am is the name. The self-proclaimed I am. That is you. Every day you say I am. That's you. All right. One of the attributes, let's say, of I am, of your awareness, is omnipresence. What does that mean?
Anywhere, everywhere.
All knowing.
Nope, that's omniscient.
Everywhere at the same time.
At the same time.
Mhm.
Everywhere at the
Same time.
So then everything is
At the same time.
Everywhere.
Wait a minute.
everything is at the same time.
I see.
Everything is happening at the same time. Now, that's the truth. That is omnipresence. Everything is happening. Your awareness is everywhere at the same time. So when you have a desire for something, what it's telling you is there's already a version of you doing that thing you desire. You just haven't experienced it yet because you have not identified yourself as that yet. And until you do, you will not experience that version of yourself. So, how do you experience? How can we, if everything is happening at the same time, that means humanity's version of the past, present, and future is really all happening
At the same time.
at the same time. So that means I was, I am, I will, I is all what?
Omnipresent.
Yeah, but it's all what?
The same.
It's all the same. It's all the same. So now, give you an example. Rich. How do you use that in the future tense? As yourself.
I will
I
be
will
rich.
be.
I will be rich.
I will be rich. How do you use it in the present tense?
I am
I
rich.
am.
I am rich.
How do you use it in the past tense?
I was
I
rich.
was rich.
Set up.
Nope.
I was not rich.
Nope.
I
I
am not
used to be
rich.
rich.
Nope.
If I was rich, no.
Nope.
Had been? Yeah.
You
Thinking.
you have to think about it like God thinks about it. Like I am thinks about it. You're thinking about it like humanity thinks about it. See, this is why you don't know how to use the past. That you can use the past to create your future properly.
When I was rich,
Okay, but what does it say about God? God is the same.
Yesterday, today, and forevermore.
If I will be and I am, then how could I be when?
I am
Dickie
rich.
put, I once was rich. I've been rich.
Basically, so I will be rich. I am rich. I have always been.
Ooh.
mm-hmm.
I've always been rich. See, I'm good at this. Like I'm on. I just want you guys. In case you
You're
didn't.
on fire. You're on fire today. Fuego.
No, I'm not gonna stop you from telling the truth. I'm not gonna do that. It's true, right? No, I've always been rich. See, the problem is when you don't know who you are, you try to get rich. You hope to be rich. One day you will be rich. So who are you until then?
Have to always be rich then,
Well,
right?
no, why you're saying it, who are you then?
Rich.
No, who are you then? Who are you then?
I am.
I am going to be rich. Who is that?
I am.
Is that what you mean when you say it?
Well, I am rich. So
Like a future version or another version?
Is there a future version?
Not really.
So then I'm going to say it to you this way and keep talking. So then who are you talking about?
Myself, another version?
Is there a future version of you?
Hmm. Mm.
I'm thinking because you talked about omnipresent.
Yeah. Omnipresent, right?
Everything is happening now.
Right.
Or just another version.
Which is happening
now.
Now.
All the
All the
time.
present.
All the time.
all the time. So if you're saying
At
I'm
the
going to,
same time.
you're saying I am not.
Mm.
So the reason you're going to be and you never will be, if you're, see, you can say I'm going to the store. There's nothing wrong with the tense as long as that you know that to be fact for you. You're walking, you pick up the keys, you get ready to walk at the door, and somebody says, "Hey, where are you going?" "Oh, I'm going to the store real quick." It's not that you use a future tense. There's no doubt in your mind that that's happening for you. So it's not the tense. But what I'm trying to show you is that most people use the tense when they say I'm going to be. They don't really realize that the way they're thinking about it is I am not. One day I hope to be. One day future. One day maybe possibly if I work hard enough. But they don't realize while they're being that, they're being I am not.
Mm-hmm.
I am not never leads you to I am. It never leads you to that. So what I'm saying to you is because we are unwilling to say something that we don't see, people will say, I will be rich. All that does for most people is give them hope.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rich, they call that a lie. And I have always, I was rich. They either say that as I lost it all, or they'll be like, well, what do I got to do with right now? Well, you don't realize that at the same time, God is I am at the same time. God is the way, the life, and the truth. That means the truth is everything is happening at the same time. That means you can say I've always been rich. And when you say I've always been rich, now you're going to get on the same. You're walking into the same identity that says that has always been happening to. You can define yourself in the past as something that will bring you into that experience now, because everything is happening at the same time. I've always been rich. Things have always worked out for me. You can start right here in this moment from where you are, using the past. Now you can use the past to create, to feel it in the present and create it in your future, meaning I'm now going, this is going to be my new experience because it's always been this way. But it's like turning the channel. When you're watching something, it's true. But when you turn the channel, doesn't that thing come on the screen? Doesn't that channel that you turn it to pop on?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks different, but isn't it happening at the same time as the one you were watching?
Correct.
Right? So
Yes.
that means every channel is happening
Now.
At the
Now.
same time.
right now. So isn't that what makes the remote powerful? It's because everything is happening right now, right? So that means it's only a matter of changing the channel. It's only a matter of making a different choice. You've been watching the channel of poverty.
Mm.
Turn it to the channel of wealth. The channel of wealth works just as completely. It is on right now, just like the channel of broke, like the channel of sick, like the channel of sad, like the channel of I can't or I am not. All of the opposite, all those channels are playing right now too. You're just not watching them. So then your brain will tell you it doesn't exist. But that's not the truth. The truth is it all exists right now. You've always been rich. You've always been healthy. If you would identify yourself that way, if you could use your past that way, then you realize, well, look, like it's always been that way. This is the way it is. So now you're saying, okay, I'm going to use the past to identify myself as that in the present and to expect that to remain so in the future. I've always been rich. I've always been healthy. I've always been successful. I've always had a marvelous, successful business. I've always had the best relationships in general or with this person. And now that's another way of changing the channel. You can now see something that's always existed that you just haven't experienced. But in I am, there are no tenses. Because when you change it, when are you watching it? Right now. When you change it back, when are you watching it? Right now. When you say there's a future me, hell, when you get to tomorrow, it will be I am. It'll be right now. There's only now. That's why I am. That's why it's present tense, first person, you. It's not someone else. It's not somewhere else. There's no future version of yourself. That version of yourself that you're thinking about is present, happening right now. You're just not in that identity to experience that. It's like a lane on the freeway when you're driving. Isn't that lane right next to you, right there? Isn't it happening at the same time next to you? And if you made a decision to get over, couldn't you get over? And when would you get over? What?
Right now.
What?
Now.
Now. There ain't no future. In the future, I'm going to get over in this future lane. What? There ain't no future lane. If there was a future lane, would you think about getting over right now? There ain't no lane to get over into, right? Well, you know what? They're building the freeway, so I'm going to get, in the future to work. So would you get on it right now? Would they let you on it right now? No, you wouldn't even. So no, there is no future you. There's a you right now that you're just not experiencing because of the way you identify yourself. But when you make a decision to get over, when you make a decision to change your mind, when you make a decision to touch the hem of the garment, when you make a decision to say, come out, that old thought of I'm going to stay here, it's going to be like this. Well, I guess we'll see how it goes. When you make a different decision, you got to get a different reality. If you want to transform your life, you have to renew your mind. There ain't no coupon. There ain't no layaway plan. There ain't no loophole. These are laws. These are not rules. They don't work for you or for this person or not for me, or I get to pay somebody off. It don't work like that. These are not rules. These are laws. These are not breakable. You can't vote them out. You can't pay anybody off. I've always been. You start telling yourself, I've always been. Whatever you think you want to be, you start telling yourself, I've always been. Because it's actually true. It's actually true. You think you're not creating anything. When you change that channel, did you create what you saw on the next channel? Wasn't it already there? Wasn't it already up and running? There's no future channel. You just turn it. All the channels are operating at the same time. There's no future desire. You just turn it. It's a future one to you because you're not in it. But it is no future truthfully. It's all happening right now. And all it takes is you turning the remote, turn the channel. You're just not watching that channel. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You're just not watching that channel. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist right now. It's playing by somebody's watching it, aren't they? Somebody is rich, aren't they? Somebody is happy, aren't they? It just ain't you. They're watching a different channel than you. But as soon as you turn the channel, don't you get to watch what they're watching? Hey, girl, you watching this? No, I'm not watching. Turn it on. Do you ever say to yourself, well, in the future, I might watch it? Is that what you say? Well, the future me is going to watch it. Is that what you say? You'd be like, I'm about to watch that right now. The checks come in the mail right now.
Yeah.
They hit my account right now. The future what? When I got a desire right now. What the hell is the future going to do for me? And I'm hungry right. Well, I'm hungry. Well, in the future, you're going to eat. What the hell does that got to do with me right now? I'm hungry right now. Right? You start identifying yourself as right now. You make a decision who you want to be right now. You make a decision on how your life goes right now. You make a decision on how your health is right now. What your wealth is right now. How your relationships are right now. Future what? You know how long that lady did 12 years in the future. She did a 12-year futures bid. What did that do? She did it. So let me tell you how cold the future is when you don't know how to use it, or the past is when you know how to use it. She did 12 years. If she didn't change her mind, what was going to happen?
Keep bleeding.
12 more years.
She would have stayed in that same position.
Well, guess what? Guess what was definitely going to happen for sure? 13. 13 was next, right? Next. 13's next. So you playing with the future like, well, one day, when is that? She did 12 years. I think she realized, you know what? This one day ain't coming. It's not coming. This is not going to get better. Nothing is going to change for you until you change your mind. Because what is today?
Me.
It's you. Today is the physical expression of who you think you are. That's how you see everybody. That's how you see everything. That's how everyone and everything sees you. It is your expectation of your experience today. That's all today is. That's all today is. It's no different than a gene. It is a thought that is input into it so that it expresses itself. As an arm, as a leg, it is information put into this thing that expresses itself. You can't see it, but it makes the thing you see. You can't see your mind, but it makes the things you do see. So you want to know what you're thinking? Take a look at all the physical things you can see in your physical world. That's what you're thinking. And that's what you think about it. That's how you see it. That's how you describe it. That's how you feel it. That's how you perceive it. All of it. You've always been what you wanted to be. You just haven't experienced it yet. But the desire is to get you to change your mind. The desire is to get you to turn the channel. The channel's on. You just haven't changed the channel. You're only watching the one you're aware of. But everything is happening at the same time. So you can say, I've always been rich. I've always had great relationships. I've always had a marvelous, successful business. I've always been healthy. I've always been, if you quote unquote want to be married, oh, I've always been married. I've always had the best relationship. My husband and wife has always treated me like this and this and that. What are you doing? You're now changing lanes. You're going from this lane here and you're moving the car to here. This lane exists too. You were in this one, now you're in this one. But that means you're no longer in this one. You're not in two lanes. You're in one lane or the other. You're in I am or I am not. It's like I've been telling you the last couple. It is binary. One lane. You try to drive in two lanes to see if people don't start honking at you. See how that works out. See if you're just going to straddle the middle of two lanes. That's not going to work. Right? So you're either in this lane or that lane. You can be in either one, but you can't be in both. Either I am or I am not. You can be either one. You can't be both. But both are happening at the same time. So this is another way that you can use the past to realize and recognize you already are, and realize that as long as you keep that thought, you always will be. You are always going to experience what you expect. And you're always expecting what you are assuming. And you're always assuming because of who you believe yourself to be. So you're always and only experiencing yourself. That's why there's no one to change but self. There's no one to change but you. And when you change you, everything changes because everything is a reflection of you, of what you're thinking about yourself and about it. What you think is possible for you, impossible for you, true for you, untrue for you, realistic or unrealistic for you. There's no absolute anything. It's all a reflection of you.
Like the great philosopher J.K. put in the chat earlier, I be richeth.
Because guess what? Whether you're rich or poor, you are. Whether you're rich, no matter what you add on to you are or I am, that is who you're being. I am. That is anything. Rich. Okay, out of all things that I am, I choose to be this in particular right now. I'm that. Out of all things I am, broke. I am broke. Out of all things I am, I choose it. Rich and broke are just experiences. That's all they are. They're only states. Let me prove it to you. Who is, I don't mean on this call, I mean the concept of it in humanity. Who is in debt?
People who choose that as their, like, people who think about them being in debt.
So who is people? Who is an example of people?
The people in the graveyard.
Yeah, but who is an example of people?
You mean like minds? Like,
No.
is that what you mean?
No. Who is an example of people?
People who go to a bank, like a person who goes to a bank, a homeowner.
Who is in debt?
Those who are in scarcity.
Who are those? Who are they?
The unaware.
Who is that?
The people living in the past.
No, so you guys aren't getting it.
The people who are not.
No.
Demon.
Aren't there, don't people say there's good debt? Haven't you heard people say there's good debt?
Right.
I'm not saying that's forget right.
Right.
I'm saying
Right.
you heard people say that.
Right.
Okay. I'm asking you, who is in debt?
The people who borrow.
Okay. Who is in New York? Who lives in New York?
New Yorkers.
Huh?
New Yorkers.
Only New York? Like
Well, from all over.
who lives in New York? Who's
The
in?
people in the state.
People who live in New York.
Who is that?
I am.
No.
Who live in New York?
Coach getting mad.
No. No.
So your question was people who
I'm impressed upon your point. Okay. Aren't black people in debt? Aren't white people in debt?
Yes.
Every human person is in debt as far as a race or a culture. Somebody from that race or culture is in debt. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Who lives
Yes.
in New York?
People
same
who live
people.
in New York.
The same people, right? So then what does debt in New York have in common?
They're states.
They're just states. They're not you. They're just states of consciousness. You aren't in debt. You are in a state of debt. You're in a state of mind called debt. That's why you're in it. That's why you'll never get out of it, no matter how hard you work, until you change that state of mind. You cannot work your way out. You have to think your way out by identifying yourself as someone who is financially free. Identifying yourself as a different state. Everybody lives in New York. Everybody's in debt, meaning a representation of humanity, of all colors, genders, and everything else. So that's why you guys had a hard time understanding what I was saying. It was on purpose because you're not thinking about it correctly. It is a state where everybody lives and everybody can go. It's a state so everyone can be represented in there. It's not a particular person or a gender. No, it is because it is about a state. It's a state. Debt is a state of consciousness. It's not a person. New York is a state. It's not a person. So everybody can come and go and get in and out of it, right? Debt, you can get in and out of it. But if you get into New York, if you want to live somewhere else, you got to leave, right? You have to leave. If you got in debt, you have to leave. In your mind, you have to start identifying yourself as the place you left debt to go to. So when you're in New York, if you go to Philly, when I call, Sarita, I'm like, hey, Sarita, where are you? And she tells me she's somewhere. She's left New York. She's somewhere else now. So she identifies where she is now, not where she was. She tells me where she is right now. Right? So a state is what you fall into. And in that state, you're expressing everything in that state. So you can't work hard enough to get out because all of your work is only a representation of the state you're in. You can't work your way out. All the work you're doing is in the state. The state is not designed to be Philadelphia when it's New York. So how long are you going to work in New York to make it Philadelphia? I'll wait. How long? No bright idea?
Can't.
What?
You can't.
So then why do you think you are? Why do you think that second shift is going to get you out?
Dang it.
Why do you think that third job is going to get you out? Why do you think cutting coupons and everything is going to get you out? I ain't mad. I'm just simply saying as your salvation. I'm saying you can cut coupons in New York and in Philadelphia. But the whole point is to cut coupons in Philadelphia because that's where you want to be. Not to try to get there while you're staying in New York. You're only cutting coupons and using them in New York. That's why I asked you the way I asked you, because I want you to understand that it's a state. It's not personal. You're not in debt personally. You're in debt personally because you're personally in the state called debt. So what do we say? What did you guys say earlier? I said, who's in New York? And what was one of the answers you guys gave me? What did you say?
New Yorkers.
Some New Yorkers. Who's in debt? The people in the state called debt. The debtors are in the state called debt. It's just a state. And just like you got in there, you can get out of there. The reason we feel it's hard to get out of the state is because we wandered into the state in ignorance and didn't realize what we were wandering in. So now we look around and say, how did I get here? What did I, right? And so now it's like, okay, well, now you have to touch the hem of the garment of freedom, of financial freedom. And how do you do that? The lady said, if whatever she told herself, she said to herself, if I or when I, well, what do you need to say to yourself to get out? Well, I'm financially free. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Who does God owe that God don't want? How can God owe somebody? God made everything. Who's God gonna owe? So if somebody says, this is mine, they stole it because they didn't make it. They're not the owner of it. So you think God's gonna pay somebody for something they stole? No. I start identifying yourself as freedom. I'm financially free. I always have more than enough. All my bills are paid up on time and up front. Everything in my name is paid up and paid off. I always have more than enough. Now you've moved into a different state of mind. And from there, you work. From there, you speak. From there, you walk. From there, you act. From there, you talk. From there. You can't work your way out of it because you thought your way into it. And if you don't think your way out of it, the work will not justify you. It will not change anything. It's only in submission or subjection to consciousness, to state you're in. So when you're a New Yorker, it's because you're in New York. So what you do is in New York, what you think is in New York, when you call, you're in New York, when you answer the phone, you're in New York, when you take a bath, everything you're doing is in that state until or unless you leave, right? So why do you think just because, I'm playing basketball now, you think you're not in New York all of a sudden? I'm going to the bank. You think you're not in New York all of a sudden? Change in physical actions doesn't change the state. Only changing the state matters because then all the physical actions are a reflection of the state. As soon as you leave New York to go to Philadelphia, isn't everything you do now in Philadelphia? It doesn't matter how long you were in New York. It doesn't matter if you were born there, grew up there, it doesn't matter. That's why when she had the 12 years of blood, it didn't matter how long it was. But it gave you those years. It's a whole nother thing onto the story. We're not going to go into it, but it gave you those years, one of which just to let you know, like, time heals all wounds. Did that look like it was true for her? Do you think, were you going to tell her that? Anybody want to sign up to tell her that? She's like, well, why don't you take over the rest of my payments then? How about that? Why don't you do a 12 and then tell me what you think? No, it doesn't. Only thoughts do that. Only changing your mind heals. Only thinking properly heals. Because thinking properly is health. Trying to get healthy, vitamins ain't gonna save you. Veganism ain't gonna save you. Not unless you're already operating from the thought of health, is the point. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to operate from the thought of health. Because if you're not operating from the thought of health, you're operating from the thought of something else. You either are or you're not. Humanity will tell you, there's a gray line, there's a gray area. Well, divinity don't think like that. The lady had 12 years and couldn't stop bleeding, or her bleeding stopped immediately. Did you see a gray area in there? When he was sitting there with the crazy man in the graveyard, he was crazy. The next time they saw him, he was sitting there quiet and shut up, right? Was there a gray area in there? So there's no gray area in your consciousness. You either are or you're not. Period. There is no gray area. There's no gray line. And you have to figure out what side you're on. This is your reality. You have to figure out what state you're going to be in. Because the state does the work. You're not doing the work. All you're doing is moving. And the state does the work. Your father, your awareness of being, the state that you occupy, that you identify yourself as, does all the work. All right, questions?
Great, Sparkle Bailey.
Okay, Coach, this was crazy. In a good way. This was crazy. Because you got me over here ready to confess, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to ask you this question. I am trying to be vague. I'm intentionally trying to be vague, but I hope you understand. I feel like you understand.
All right.
So I became the femininity fairy because I used to play the role of protector. I used to play the role of karma. I used to play the role of, shut up, Sarita. Sarita is hilarious. But yes, something like that, yes. But I used to play the role of karma. I used to play the role of the protector because things that happened in my past caused me to be the protector. So that innocent, happy-go-lucky, positive, I just want to help the world, be an asset to my community. That part of me was kind of pushed back because there was a lack of protection at some point in my youth. The protection went away. So I had to, or it changed. And so I had to become my own protector, or so I thought. So as you were just talking about, we step into these places, we're not even aware that we're stepping into these places. In ignorance, I'm like 5, 6 years old, 7 years old. I stepped into the role of a protector. I don't think a 6, 7-year-old is supposed to be a protector, especially a little girl. And so over the years, that version of myself became greater and greater and greater. So that good-hearted energy that helped the world, help the community, whatever energy was kind of suppressed. And what came out was, I'll beat your ass. It's not a problem. My mama is a cop. Like, I'm gonna get away with whatever I do. Like just this mindset of like, if you bother me or you bother mine, you're gonna feel it back. So for years, I gave people what they deserved because they would come and initiate issues and I would shut it down. And so today at 40 now, a few years back, I decided, okay, that's an option, but that's not really working the way you want it to. So I decided, and I'm telling myself, okay, I'm going to become this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make a difference in this way. I'm going to hold myself accountable for being more graceful with my mannerisms and my verbiage and things like that. And so I'm also going to influence women like that. I'm also going to give back, if you will, by being this example and also encouraging women who have similar stories. And just listening to your call today, I'm sitting here like, girl, you still ain't where you think you are. You still have a way to go because, well, not even a way to go, but just like the light switch that you thought clicked, it really didn't click. You just kind of high-fived people in your graveyard, if you will, if in your tombstone. You're over here with the dead and you're high-fiving each other and you're thinking that you're getting somewhere, but you're still in that tombstone. Because even as I'm writing down, as you're speaking, I'm writing down, the world has always meant me well and treated me kindly. I have been healthily and happily married. I've always had a successful business. I'm writing down all these things. The last thing that I wrote down had to do with somebody else's karma, me being able to witness their karma. Does that make sense? Like, I'm still in this headspace of like, even if I'm not the one issuing your karma, which is what I've known most of my life, I still want to watch you suffer because you deserve to suffer because of what you did. And I feel like that's a place to like kind of like be real with myself. Like, yo, you still gotta like switch to click on, baby. Like you does that make sense?
So when we say we create our own reality, part of that is also choosing to be who we want to be. Choosing to be who we want to be in every moment about any and everything. When you can only give what you have. So you have to figure out, what do you want to give? And is that worth having? If you want to give somebody, I'm just using an example, not what you're saying, but using an example. If you want to give somebody heartbreak, or if you want to give somebody anger, or if you want to give somebody get back, if you want to give somebody something, you also have to realize that you have to possess it yourself first. So whatever that does to them, it can also do to you, right? That's why it says, be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, it reaps, right? So the first thing, in order to give somebody something, we have to have it first. So we may, if we want to take our kids swimming, if we want to take them swimming, we generally in the water with them, right? And so we have to kind of figure out, do I want to possess this thing that I want to give to this other person for whatever reason I think they deserve it? Do I want to think that within myself? Do I want to hold that within myself, right? Because it has to be with me first in order to give it, or in order to enjoy it, or in order to, so do I really want to hold that within myself? right? And a lot of times when you start thinking, you realize it's not about letting people off the hook. It's not about people not getting what they deserve. It's not about, but you start to realize, like, first and foremost, I'm going to have to hold this for me. I'm going to have this within me. Do I really want that level of animosity or tension or anger or anxiety or frustration or stress so that I can give it to someone else or so that I can enjoy somebody else experiencing it, right? You have to kind of figure out, do you really want that for yourself? Because we can only give what we have, and we only enjoy things or not enjoy things as we're being, right? So that's to me part of the most important things, because when you realize that you're new every day, you realize that you're new every day, you realize you can choose something different for yourself. But everyone doesn't realize that. And so it's better for you to be able to choose who you want to be now moving forward, and let everyone else figure that out for themselves, and be happy that you have found out in a way that you can make that choice for yourself. But sitting around trying to hold people's head under the mud, you got to be there with them. And you got to figure out, is that how you want to spend your time? Is that you want your clothes just as muddy and dirty as theirs? Do you want to be in that situation with them, right? You can't see somebody get their get back if you're not around, right? You can't see somebody get their get back if your awareness isn't on it. But where your awareness is going to show you more of that thing. And you could end up in the same situation because that's where your awareness is, right? Our awareness not only does, it also receives. Our awareness not only it also enjoys the things that are a reflection of it. So you have to be very mindful about the highest level of thinking, right? It's not, we can't do the human, well, yeah, I just want to see it happen. Yeah, but I want to, you're aware of being something, right? And that's what we have to aware. Your awareness of being is the most important thing, because that is the creator of your reality. That's the creator of all things. And so whatever you're believing yourself to be, whatever you're aware of being, that is what is put in physical form, what humans call reality. So you have to be very mindful about the states of mind that you're willing to entertain, whether you think it's retribution or not. You have to be very aware and be very careful with that, because there's nothing worth sacrificing your peace. There's nothing worth sacrificing who you choose to be. There's nothing worth sacrificing your preference over and about. So I would start there. And once you have found freedom by knowing who you are, there are people who don't. And how do you feel a slave is supposed to act? What do you think they're supposed to do? How do you think they're supposed to behave, right? But when you now know the truth and you know better, sometimes you have to be just okay with that, and not in a conciliatory way, but in a priority way. Like, you know what, the best thing in the world is to feel good and to be the me that I want to be, and be so in love with that and so happy with that nothing else is worth taking you off that path. Nothing is worth diverting your mind to. Nothing else is worth being just so that you can see somebody else get there. What? Like, for what? Like, that's like a rich person going down to the hood to watch people go to jail. Like, why would I do that when I got a Bentley and I'm living in a nice spot? And what do I want to go down there? I'm not interested in that, right? So it's kind of like that thing. Like, become so aware of yourself, become therefore so in love with yourself that you just, what you want for yourself, you want for others, and you give them the grace and the time to become that for themselves, and realize that they have not yet found what you have, and you would still be the you were without finding what you have. That's why they're still the them that they are, because they have not yet either. So you give them the same grace. It doesn't mean you hang out, doesn't mean you call for a reunion or a kickback, but you do just let the dead bury the dead. Remove yourself and live well. There's nothing better than living well. There's nothing waking up better than peace. We're watching chaos and people get back and the clap back. Let the dead bury the dead. Let the pigs roll with the pigs. Let them be in the mud. We were all in there. You asked me a week ago, like, how do you tell people certain things and not be, ridiculous with them? Because we're all in this garden of flowers, but we're all growing at different rates. Some of us are open. Some of us are still coming about the ground. Some of us look like there ain't nothing in there, right? But it's coming. But we all are growing. We're all in the garden, right? Growing our minds, right? And we're all at different stages. So I can remember when I was under the soil, didn't see nothing. I can remember when I first came out, I was like, oh, this starts to make sense a little bit. So it's easy for me to talk crazy to everybody, but to love everybody, because I'm in the same box, so to speak. I'm in the same planted field that everybody else is in. And we're all growing at different rates and different times, but that's who we all are. So the most important thing is, man, just be so in love with who you are, understanding that you can be, that nothing else matters. That you don't even you don't care anything about that, right? So Perfect.
Thank you, Coach.
You.
Thank you.
All right, Ronette, come on up.
Okay, am I unmuted?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
My iPad wasn't cooperating. So yeah, what you said in Sparkle Belly, it ignited something, not ignited. It let me see, like, you know, how you're doing a lot. Like, I'm taking care of my mother. My mother was in the hospital for over a month, and it was very stressful. Where I was getting 3 hours or less a night of sleep, and then there's one day where I didn't eat. A few days probably I wasn't eating. But people are asking me, "Well, are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." But it wasn't true, because I got to the point where I, as they call, say, crashed out, like, really. And it's so terrible when I'm trying to get after somebody who's constantly coming at me, that it ended up hurting me. Like, it hurt me so bad that now I'm trying to keep my mind at peace and not worry. That, when I say hurt me so bad, that it was not worth losing myself or forgetting myself, even though I had, like, we could say we had an excuse because I wasn't sleeping. Sleep deprivation is a real thing. It can cause your mind, because you need your sleep to be rejuvenated. And so, to worry about, now I'm in a place where I'm just worried about me, trying not worry about me, but thinking about me, where I am, who I am, how I am. And that at that moment I forgot who I was. And because of that lapse, now it backfired. You say you have to be right there where that person is. You, like, they deserved every bit of that. But now I'm getting exactly what I wanted them to have. And it's crazy how that is. You actually have to be in a gutter with somebody to watch them in a gutter, or hold them in a gutter, or whatever it is you're trying to do. And that's crazy. We have to know who we are at all times. And I tell anybody from now on, you better get that sleep. You better eat how you're supposed to eat. Make sure you're eating the right thing, because how can you walk in who you are? So I said that to say, you're right. You have to be down there with them, because you're going to suffer the same thing you're trying to make them suffer. And it's not worth it. It's not worth your peace at all. So I just had to get that out. But thanks for letting me share that.
Wonderful. And just like it says in the book, right? Though your sins may be red as scarlet, I can make them white as snow. So there's nothing that's done that can't be undone. That not in humanity, it'll tell you all the reasons it can, all the why it's impossible, this or that. But you either are I am, or you're I am not. Meaning you're I am, or you think you're just Ronette or Sarita. You think you're just, but no, you are I am. You are whether you know it or not. Now, if you don't think you are, you'll experience not being, the feeling of not being, but you still are. That's why the feeling of not being sucks, because it's not true. And so when you're living a lie, how's it supposed to feel? So then, even though we make mistakes, that's fine, but it can be made white as snow. You can decide, okay, well, what do I want now? I want that relationship to be this, or I want to be this, or this is how I want to move forward as this thing. You start telling yourself that, and that's exactly what you'll see. There's nothing that's done that can't be undone. There's nothing that we can't change, because we're not changing it from our human experience. We're changing it from the reality that creation is finished, and we can choose any lane that we want to experience, to animate, to bring to life. So I'm now this. From this moment, where do I want? What do I want to choose? What do I want to be, do, and have? Right? Because sometimes our experiences are what give us the wisdom to pick the next best thing. And when you tell yourself, what does it say? All things work out for good to those that love God and are called according to his purpose. All things work for good. It's either true or it's not. So you can't say, I'm going to say it this way. You can't say, I believe God, but then not believe that. And if you believe God, you got to believe that. And if you believe that, then all things work out for good. So whatever crash out you did, hell, they crash out NASCAR all the time and they get paid for it. So that everything is popping, should you choose. Everything is nothing but what we tell ourselves to be. But what we tell ourselves is because of who we think we are. So when we know, to your point, when you know who you are, you'll start telling yourself, yeah, that looks crazy, but it ain't. It's perfect because I'm perfect. I'm whole and complete, lacking nothing, right? Everything is always working out for me. I always have the victory in all things. So even this crash out, this shit, I'm gonna call it NASCAR then and still get my check. I'm still gonna get paid, and I'm gonna get a sponsor. Hell, they can crash and get paid, so can I. Right? It's only right. It's only how we define things for ourselves. And when you realize that, then shoot, it's just like a martial arts. You take all the energy and just redirect it and be like, now it's this now. Right? So everything is possible for you. But that's why I talk so passionately, because I'm living the same thing. So when something looks crazy to me, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna mess that one up. Nope. It's perfect. I don't know how it's perfect, but I'm telling myself it's perfect. And I know whatever I tell myself is true, because it is a law. This is not gambling. It's a law. Whatever you tell yourself is true. So you start telling yourself, you know what? I crashed out, or you know what? I didn't crash out. It was perfect. It's always perfect. I'm always perfect. And whatever I do is perfect. So it's perfect right now. You like, talk, this is like, put it on, try it, and you'll see it like, yeah, this actually is, it's true, right? Because you are I am, whether you know it or not. You are. And the fact that you know it, you be like, shoot, let there be light. It's dark. I want something else. Let there be light. I'm popping. That didn't work. Well, then you know what? I'm gonna tell myself the opposite. It did work. Everything I did work. And this is just the unveiling. This is just the carpet rolling out to my good. And you start telling yourself everything I do is perfect. I'm always perfect. Guess what? I've always been perfect. I've always made the right decisions. I've always said the right things. I always get my sleep. I've always been well rested. I've always been brilliant. I've always been the best. You start right transforming your life by renewing your mind. You went through your 12 years and be like, you know what? I'm about tired of this 12-year bid. I'm about to touch the hem of the garment. Boom, here you go. And immediately things change, right? Because you are the change. Today is you. So today is the day that you have made to rejoice and be glad and do it, right? By telling yourself, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. And everybody loves me, and all the world means me well and treats me kindly, and is a link in the chain of my good. I have the victory in all things. Everything I set my hand to prospers. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer, right? Everything is perfect because I'm perfect. That's the way it is, right? You start walking and talking as I am, right? You ain't a little limited being with no little light you're trying to let shine. You are I am that made the sun, and this is the way it's going to be from this moment, right? You Joe Clark standing up on thing with a bat, but this is East Side High. Everybody can catch it. Right? Because you are the best and you are the greatest, period. And you can do anything, right? Right? What does it say? I can do all things through Christ. I can do all things with the power and wisdom that is within me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens. The power and wisdom in you strengthens you, right? Your strength is renewed as the eagle. You tell yourself, I don't care. I always get my rest. I always have more than enough. That's what it is. Whether it's rest, money, peace, joy, success, whatever it is. I am always cracking and popping the most. Collar always popping. Whether I'm asleep, even if I don't got no clothes on, my collar's popping. I'm always up. My collar's up like it's 1985, right? Like I'm Magnum PI or somebody. This is what it is. And that's what you tell yourself every day, maniacally, that you are the best and the greatest to ever do it in everything. You're the best teacher. You are the best everything that you do, right? And the world will rearrange itself and show you what you're telling yourself because it's a law, right? So that's good. You take that with you. Sarita?
Yes, I had a different thought, but just to piggyback off what you and
Yeah.
Rynette were discussing, like in those moments, I just say all is well, everything works out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good and perfect will come, and I am safe. So no matter what happened, because sometimes we get stuck in the guilt of it all, like, oh, I did this or oh, I did that. Nope, all is well, everything will work out for my highest good. And out of this situation, only good and perfect will come, and I am safe. But what I was going to talk about was the I was reading this book, and they were talking about when you talk to your children, you know, have them ask them if they've ever watched that cartoon with the devil and the angel on their shoulders,
Mhm.
and talk them through like, hey, have you ever watched that cartoon, and you know that the devil is going to try to tell you something that is not who you are or in your best mind. Now I'm learning today that's not in my best mind, or the angel is going to tell you what's in your right mind and what is good for you. So always listen to that. So I just pictured that illustration of the devil on one side and the angel on one side, and that's how sometimes our thoughts go. They'll circle, but you can choose the one or decide which one you want each and every in every moment that you wake up. So like this morning when I woke up, I'm saying, God, just show me all the beautiful things that life can bring. No matter, what else happens, I want to see the beautiful things. So show me, show me, show me. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Right? I mean, you think about it. Think about it. Like, we're crazy as parents and ridiculous and insane. So would we really be talking to our kids like the stuff we say to ourselves? You know you crashed out, right? You know you messed up, right? You know it's not good, right? You know you're gonna die, right? You're like, we wouldn't even do that. God's not doing that. So that's only our devil mind, our lower carnal human mind that's telling you, like, oh, you know you messed up, or you know it's a bad thing, or you know you can't do it now. No, like we wouldn't even do that. Even in our insanity and humanity, no, everybody would think you're crazy for talking to your kids like that. So God don't talk to you. Your higher awareness being don't talk to you like that. It's always telling you, man, even in your sin, even though your sins white as red as scarlet, I'll make them white as snow. Right? Shoot, just repent, radically change your mind, tell yourself something different. Right? That's it. Like, you're the best. I will remember that. Who cares? Right? There's only God. You only did it to yourself. There's only God in this world. There's only I am. And I am just slapped somebody. It slapped itself. We are all I am. That's it, right? We only crashed out on ourselves. Haven't we crashed out on ourselves in the shower? Like, that was so stupid. Why did I do that? Oh my God. We crashed out. It's the same thing as crashing out somebody else. It's I am talking to itself. It's just I am talking to ourselves. It's 8 billion versions of the same consciousness, but there's only one consciousness. So it's really only one being, right? So, man, it's all good. Man, please. It's all good, right? That's right. All right. Anyone else? Okay, Vanessa, anything you want to say before we let everyone roll?
Oh, just thank you, everyone. Today was amazing. Such a great call. And thank you for everyone who participated. Welcome to the new folks that came in. We do this every Saturday, so slide through. And Coach Lucky has the U Circle. I put it in the chat if you guys are interested. And yeah, that's it. I am.
See, I am. Above all things, before all things, I am. I am. From there, you make all your choices. From there, you tell yourself who you are. From there, you tell yourself how it's going to go. From there, you tell yourself how it's always been. From there, you tell yourself how it's always going to be, right? That's the way it is. 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 That's the truth that sets you free and keeps you free. I am. Above all things, before all things. Period. 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 All right, everyone. Well, hey, happy Saturday. Do it to them. Have a great week. Remember who you are. Act like it. Walk like it. Yes. Vanessa.
Yeah, I see Ronette asked what time the circle meets. So Tuesdays is 8 p.m. Eastern through 9:30. So that's a later call. And then Fridays is, sorry, I'm doing the time zone changes because we're saying East Coast, but we're in Pacific. And then Fridays is 4:30 through 6 p.m. Eastern. And then the one-on-ones we'll schedule you when, in any of the slots that Lucky has available. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
All right. Well, perfect, everyone. Hey, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember who you are. That's right. Victory only, victory always. I am only, I am always. Change your mind, change your life. Choose your mind, choose your life. All right. Good to see everyone. Leslie, good to see you. Tell the girls I said hello. Good to see you. Yep.
So.
Yeah. Good to see everyone. Happy Saturday. See you guys next week.